Hello again. This video is intended for my grade 11 top students, just to give you an idea of how I see us going ahead over the next few days, months, whatever it's going to be, as we try to move ahead a little bit with this course. Now, as I understand it right now, you all should have been given back Lab 1. I sent those emails out yesterday with the scans. You should have had time to read. If there's anything you can't read, please email me and we will figure it out. If you feel that you don't quite understand how the mark was arrived at, that's once again something we can discuss. So please don't hesitate to do that. Lab 2 then, as you know, is due at 23:59 tonight in a PDF format. If there's personal issues that are affecting you right now with the circumstance, please contact me privately and we will try to work out some under reasonable arrangement. If you're otherwise quote unquote normal right now, then I'd look forward to those documents by midnight. The way I propose to mark this will be on Adobe using comments. They'll be easier for you to read, and otherwise the grading will get back. Most of my comments don't require equations or things like that. Now, for some reason, if this doesn't work out, then I'll have to print them and do it the old-fashioned way, but I would much prefer to do it this way. Probably I will type more than I would write, and you'd probably get more feedback, which perhaps is what you're looking for. That will take a while. My priorities just now will first be to get out an adequate number of these videos so that you folks can move ahead at a reasonable pace. We have tests that need to be marked. When I have those tests marked, the intention is to scan those sheets, the written sheets, the sheets that you've actually solved problems on, and they'll be returned privately to each one of you, which will take a little bit of doing. And then the scans will be done as you're used to. I brought the scanning device home, so the intention would be to scan here in the same way I do in my office at school. So you can look forward to those when I get to it. And then we'll move ahead, of course, with the lessons. There will be no evaluations in the course other than the lab you're submitting today for now. Obviously, testing at a distance is not something that can be properly secured, and we'll have to wait and see what the authorities decide to do between now and the typical end of the school year. So let's not look into our crystal ball just now. Let's simply do and take care of the things we can do to make ourselves better, and then when we get back, eventually we can then figure out what the plan will be. So for standpoint of the lessons on the internet, what I propose to do is to have a brief review of 2D motion, just to bring everybody back. I know you have notes, but nevertheless, and this will help. Maybe some of you had a few problems with it. The way I propose to present on the internet, I will not be standing in front of a blackboard doing all kinds of notes like I have in class, though that's not practical for me here. But you will be able to stop the video and play it over again as many times as you need. And of course, you can always email me if something is unclear. If I did something in a video, if somehow I misspoke or whatever, I don't mind making an addendum to fix whatever is wrong. But anyhow, an individual video will be a narration, of course. There will be perhaps pictures. There will maybe PowerPoint slides or something like that. PowerPoint's a little tricky to do with equations. And I have a whiteboard, a smaller one, that I can use to do equations more rapidly. And I think that's probably what I will probably do. I just have to work out just what camera system I'm going to use and all the rest of it to illustrate these things. But this will all come out fairly, after we get doing it, I'm sure it'll all make sense. And hopefully that, will serve you. So the course, like I said, I'm going to finish up 2D. So I'll look at a review of 2D, basic 2D, and then the more difficult problems so that you get a better sense of exactly where this goes. And I can have a chance to work things out a bit more The videos will be however long they need to be to get a concept done. So I'm not going to worry about whether the video is 15 minutes or 50 minutes. I'm interested in telling a story that, you know, hopefully can be done and be encapsulated in a particular idea. So we'll start then again when that's finished, which shouldn't take too long since we've already kind of covered that ground. Then we'll be looking at, for the study of forces, we'll give you some access to some biographies of Sir Isaac Newton. You can get a chance to feel that time. Maybe talk a little bit about him, but not too much. And then we'll get into adding forces as vectors and so forth and how that all works. And then into forces that we will deal with, which will be contact forces and so forth, frictional forces, and that includes drag. We also deal with springs, the force of gravity, Newton's laws, and weight and Newton's laws. There's some subtleties to that need to be illustrated, and we will cover that in some detail, because even though the equations are comparatively simple, there's some nuances to it that perhaps aren't really very clear. So that will all hopefully be made as the videos progress. And so when finally we'll do tension, 2D type tension problems as well, and that'll finish up what is being expected in the forces unit. I can also indicate to you problem sets in the textbook that would be illustrative of the work that I've been trying to do on my videos, and direct you in that way. If there's problems or concepts that are in the textbook, then we can talk about perhaps some things you might want to consider there as well, or I can post something that will give you some things to consider if you wish to do so. Following forces, if we're still in similar circumstances, which from the counts right now seem to be for a little while anyway, then we'll move into energy, work, and power. Similar type of circumstance. These concepts are more abstract, but nevertheless, we'll again work through them. And again, you have the privilege of playing the video as often as appropriate for you to help hopefully get the concepts better understood. And finally, well, not finally, but at least in the current list of things, then I'll move into some of the things that I want to cover as applications for you. And this will be things like simple machines. There's, I think, 11 of them. And if we get that far, then lab 3 will be you folks trying to find the examples of these machines in the real world. Now, obviously, with the restrictions right now, we certainly want to be mindful of those, and those always take precedence. But a lot of these things exist in your home as well, and you can find them without ever having to go outside. And I will certainly give you liberty to find examples on the internet. It's not really the spirit of it, but better than getting into troubles. But that's a little ways off, so let's not worry ourselves just so much on that. But that's sort of how I see this laying out. And these videos will get done as they get done. And initially, I suspect the release rate might be a little slower as I get used to just exactly how I'm going to produce these here at my home. And also, especially the illustrative parts and the editing takes more time actually than the video takes. And so we have to go through that. Today I made this video already one time and the camera quit, but I didn't know that. So I've had to do it again here. So as an example, these things will take a little bit of time. But I'm looking forward to it, looking forward to working with you. Hopefully we can, as I said in my first video, make our time together a positive one and come out the other end a little smarter than we were when we went in. Anyhow, I wish all of you the best of health and in always, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.